10-minute rule motion, Nadhim Zahawi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I beg to move that leave be given to bring a bill to designate St George's Day or the nearest working day as an annual public holiday in England with effect from 2012, to designate St David's Day or the nearest working day as an annual public holiday in Wales with effect from 2012 and for connected purposes. In all three primary party manifestos, we vowed to promote national integration. One of the most effective ways of achieving this is to make the Saints' Days of St George and St David bank holidays in England and Wales, respectively. This is a subject that means a lot to me and to many of my constituents in Stratford-on-Avon. I stood up and promised the people of Stratford-on-Avon that I would not add to the legislative burden that they already face. I would take away from it. I promised that if I had the chance, I would introduce this bill. Unlike our neighbours in Scotland, Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, England and Wales do not currently celebrate our Saints' Days as bank holidays. This is something that I wish to change. It is quite right that in 2011 there should be a special one-off bank holiday to celebrate the royal wedding. But from 2012 onwards, the royal wedding bank holiday should be replaced by bank holidays that celebrate our two countries' patron saints. We all know St. George as the famous dragon slayer, whose bravery freed a town from the tyranny of a vicious dragon and eventually led to townsfolk to Christianity. But, Mr. Speaker, I do have to point out that St. George was an immigrant to this country. St. George is widely believed to have been born in Turkey and served in the Roman army before being taken into English hearts. And my honourable friend, the Father of the House, who is an expert on that part of the region, tells me that he may have even been of Kurdish origin. I would speculate even further that his skin may have been my shade of tan. St. David is not just remembered for his miracles and close affinity with nature. He was also a great unifying force for Christianity and for Wales as a whole. Both saints had a huge impact on the culture of our respective countries. What they stood for is just as relevant today as it was way back then. So we all know our patron saints. But why is it important to celebrate them? I think the best answer is a simple one. It is through national days that we can celebrate what makes our nation so great. These will be days on which we can be even more proud of all the best aspects of English and Welsh culture and society. Those things include our history of tolerance, acceptance, and scientific innovation, as well as a huge impact on the history of the rest of the world. We have so much to be proud of in our past, and so much that our children can learn from, both from our successes, but also from our mistakes. In recent years, I have been saddened to see the symbols of our patriotism being hijacked by the fringe right wing of our country. Today, in this House, we can go a long way towards reclaiming them. We can ensure that all who live in Britain, whatever their background, are able to join together and celebrate all the things that make Britain great. Mr. Speaker, I am a firm believer in the supreme value of our culture and history. We should never let anyone tell us not to celebrate it. Let me finish by putting to bed the one argument against such a change that I have heard time and again, that it would be bad for our economy to have an extra bank holiday. Mr. Speaker, I am a businessman and entrepreneur who has built strong and enduring businesses, and I totally reject the idea that having one extra bank holiday will affect our productivity. The working people of this country will get the work they need to do done, regardless of a new bank holiday. We must remember that the whole concept of work has changed. Work is no longer just about turning up at a particular place at a particular time and then leaving at another fixed time. One of the beneficiaries is our small shops and businesses in town centres. They would benefit from the extra custom during this holiday. Our local pubs would undoubtedly attract many who wish to toast St. George and St. David. And with the creation of special events for those days, our leisure and tourism industries would also do well. To further put this in context, we should take into account the relatively few bank holidays we receive when compared to our European and North American neighbours. We are 16th in Europe with only 8 days holiday, whereas France has 11, Sweden has 11, and Germany has 12. Even our notoriously hard-working American friends have 13 bank holidays a year, although I do accept that the USA take less vacation time overall. Interestingly, by a strange coincidence, Mr. Speaker, YouGov has recently commissioned a survey into the British public's attitude to this issue. They discovered that there is strong public support for an increase in the number of bank holidays. Over 2/3 of adults, 68%, think that it would be appropriate for Great Britain to have at least 9 days of public holiday a year. Out of the various possible calendar occasions that were candidates for the extra bank holiday, YouGov found that St. George's Day was the most popular. 22% supported it, just ahead of Remembrance Day on 21%. These two were clear favourites, with the Battle of Trafalgar and the summer solstice coming third and fourth, respectively. I was delighted that the Prime Minister heard my call for the flag of St. George to be flown over Downing Street in the summer. It is high time that the flag was taken back from those groups that are not worthy of it. Today could be a huge step in the right direction, Mr. Speaker. If passed, this bill could be of real benefit to social cohesion in England and Wales. I hope colleagues will join me in supporting it and making it a reality. It would be a very fine wedding present to both nations. I commend this bill to the House.
Order. The question is that the honourable member have leave to bring in his bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary, no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Who will prepare and bring in the bill?
Claire Perry, Mr. Speaker, Nick Bowles, Keith Vaz, Brandon Lewis, Andrew Rossendale, Jonathan Edwards, Simon Hughes, Sajid Javid, Robert Buckland, Brian Binley, Robert Halfon, and myself, sir.
Mr. Nadhim Zahawi.
St. George's Day and St. David's Day bill.
Second reading what day?
13th of May, sir.
13th of May. Thank you. We come now to the main business